Salutations, celestial sightseers. I'm David Fuller. Welcome to Eyes on the Sky. What's up this week? Over in the southwestern part of the sky are the winter constellations of Orion and Canis Major and Canis Minor, and those stars are starting to set off that direction. Rising in the east, if we're looking towards the south, we see Spica and Arcturus, and in between there's kind of this blankish part of the sky, especially if you're in more light polluted areas, where there is a constellation that resides called Hydra, and it sort of snakes its way from underneath where Cancer is, and then underneath Crater and Corvus, and it's not terribly bright. Its brightest star is Alphard, a second magnitude star, but there is an object, if we zoom in here, called the Ghost of Jupiter Nebula, and it's a very bright object. It's a planetary nebula that is 8.6 magnitude, and as you can see, that surface brightness is really bright, 6.88, which means this should not be difficult to find and see, and that's true. It's not very difficult to find and see. It's just a matter of knowing the right stars to hop in order to get there, and I'm going to show you how to do that from Alphard over here, which is a little ways off from Procyon. It's really shifted more towards Procyon, about 40% of the way between there and Spica. So if you look kind of generally in that direction, about an hour and a half or so after sunset, because that's when the Ghost of Jupiter will be at or near the meridian, giving you the best opportunity to see that because it will be at its highest, so you'll be looking through the least amount of atmosphere. We can start here at Hydra, and if we put up a binocular field of view, we've got some bright stars over here, and you see these two stars this direction. If we're going to go swing over towards the east, we're going to kind of go that way and sort of slip between these two sets of stars here. Now we have a little ways to go because that's about an 8 or 9 degree star hop. So Alphard is going to leave our field of view before we actually get to where our next star is. But don't be fooled, it's not this one, because that one is a 5th magnitude star. We're going to go to the slightly brighter star right here, which is Upsilon Hydrae, and that one is a little brighter. Now we got to go up this way, and we'll see a couple stars this direction. You can actually see these stars in the same field of view because you're going to go from Upsilon up towards Lambda over here, and you got several stars that will help you find that. Now we're going to go back down again. We'll still be in that same field of view where we have our target star, and that's right here where you need to go to Mu Hydrae, a 3.8 magnitude star. And as you can see, Ghost of Jupiter Nebula is in that 7 degree field of view without any problem whatsoever. But the difficulty is knowing exactly where to stop. You can see how there's these stars. These are like 7th magnitude stars. These two little ones here, and then these two little ones here. But what I find a little easier to do is look a little further down, because this star is brighter at 6th magnitude. So if you're having trouble identifying stuff, you're going to go about halfway in between there and where Mu is at. And you can maybe even see this star and this star. So you have this right triangle of stars like that. That sort of, you think of it as like an arrow. And then Ghost of Jupiter is halfway in between. And if you imagine that Ghost of Jupiter is almost right at where the 4th point of a square would be. And if you just kind of aim your telescope right there using your finder scope, you're going to be awful darn close at that point. Check this out when we go to something that's just slightly under a 1 degree field of view. So this is a 0.96 field of view in a reflector telescope. So instead of Ghost of Jupiter being up here, as it was with our binoculars, it's flipped upside down and left to right. So we've gone from here over to this way in our actual field of view. Now, that may not actually happen depending on how your telescope is turned, but that's how at least it shows up on Stellarium. But you know that you've got it in your field of view. So look at the star field that you've got here, and if you even center the Ghost of Jupiter, you can see how there's a number of bright stars, and this star right here is a 10th magnitude star. So that's not going to be super bright. A lot of these other dim ones here are 12th and 13th magnitude. Unless you've got a really big telescope, those won't show up. But this 10th magnitude star is kind of your point that you want to go from. You were at a 10th magnitude. You're going to go over to this. This is a 9th magnitude star, so that's going to go too far. But Ghost of Jupiter, it's small, but it's not super small as far as planetary nebula go. It actually is fairly close in size-ish to what Jupiter actually is. So if you know what your magnification needs to be to look at the planet Jupiter and to be able to see the equatorial bands on it and some of the other things like the Great Red Spot, then you know you need a fair amount of magnification. We're only at about 85 times magnification right here. That's not a whole lot for a planet. It's not a whole lot for this particular nebula either. So you want to bump that up some more. Here we're at a 4.7 millimeter eyepiece. So now we got a field of view that's a half a degree. Our magnification is at 160. Now we're going to have a good opportunity to see this bright object that is just a hair smaller than what Jupiter actually is. But initially, you might confuse it for a star until you start bumping up that magnification, and then it actually expands in size, unlike stars, which will remain point-like. So check out this very cool shell of an exploded star, NGC 3242, or also known as Caldwell 59, over in the constellation of Hydra, and look for it and see what you can find for the Ghost of Jupiter Nebula. That's all for this week. Keep your eyes on the sky and your outdoor lights aimed down so we can all see what's up. I'm David Fuller, wishing you clear and dark skies.